All right, vlog time. So I'm wearing a nicer shirt because I just did a recording for a video series I'm doing on basics of Dungeons and Dragons. I teach it as my work right now, so this way I can introduce people to it, get them excited about it, and hopefully getting them signed up for some remote D&D, which I think is going to be a blast. Back to gratitude though. So the basic science, as far as I can understand it, is how brains work is when something is new, the brain just starts firing off rapidly, like, oh my god, this thing is super cool. But then the longer it's around, the less that we notice it. So basically, our brains are wired to notice new things, which evolutionarily, that is a good thing, because then we will actually notice all of these. We'll notice something that is standing out. For example, if we were out in the savannah and little bits of grass that haven't been moving start to move, those are probably things that we're going to really want to notice. In the modern world, though, what that means is we tend to notice things that show up on the news, so we tend to notice all of the bad things, whereas the good things that we're really, really used to tend to fall into the background, so we don't really notice them. By giving thanks, what we're trying to do is we're trying to notice those good things again and train our brain to actually look for them. So in this case, what we're doing is we are um, looking at the amazing things. For example, my samurai poster back there that I got from students in Japan, so it makes me remember them and be thankful for them and their gift and the time that they gave me, especially as I was a pretty new teacher learning to do things. The Captain Marvel poster is one I got last year at the art fair. It reminds me of a lot of my kids, especially my fifth graders, and the kid who made it. So I'm really thankful for them because now I have this really, really cool poster to put in my room. And just in general, yeah, trying to find ways to be thankful, to remind myself that things aren't just scary. They aren't just this mind boggling terror that I think most people are feeling right now, where it's this almost existential crisis of, I'm not quite sure what to do. And I'm going to zoom in right now a little bit because my arm is getting tired, so I'm going to zoom around. Don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up. Uh, there. Ceiling. This is much more comfortable for me. Not as good a view, but a little bit easier for me to do. And as you can see, I don't have a fire alarm up there because I need to put new batteries in it, which we've been going to the store, which is something that's only going to happen once a week when we really need to do it. So, yay, life. Anyway, in terms of giving things, like I said in the blog, my mom had a really cool idea in terms of, you know, taking time each day to make sure to thank the health givers. But as much as I love that idea, I can't help but thinking that the way that she's doing it means that no health giver is actually going to receive that thanks because it's staying in a very localized area. Where right now we have the ability to go to a much greater area. So I guess what I'm trying to do with this vlog is explain that science behind it and explain you're just trying to retrain the brain. And the other bit is kind of encouraging people to take the opportunities to do these small things, but try to find ways to think about how to magnify them onto a larger scale. Like my mom probably wouldn't have thought of that if we hadn't been listening to NPR and if they hadn't been talking to those people over in Italy, which I think is really, really cool. Like halfway around the world, people were talking and it reached us and it inspired my mom to do her thing. It inspired me to make this series right here. This is going on a little long, so I'm going to wrap this up momentarily. In terms of the retraining thinking, though, back to that aspect, the language that we use around things affect how we see them. So if we only talk about things as scary, such as going outside or going to the store and taking extreme care and keeping social distance and blah 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 blah, then we're going to look at those things as inherently dangerous. Likewise, if you look at something we say, I'm just bad at this, this is hard for me, like this vlog, and learning how to do these sorts of things on the fly, then we're going to automatically look for the ways that they're hard, that we're not good at them, and we're not going to really improve. On the flip side, if we are going to the store and we say things like, I am going to keep my distance, but I'm going to see other people. I'm going to get out of my house and make sure to keep that distance but enjoy the world all the same, then instead I'm training myself to be cautious, appropriately cautious, but not let it detract from what I'm able to do. Likewise, if I'm doing something like these videos, my poor roommates, they have to deal with me coming home sometimes and saying, oh my god, that was wonderful. That day sucked. I failed and screwed up a lot, and I'm so excited for the lessons I'm going to learn so that I can do better next time. It's all that rephrasing and that rethinking about things to try to put either a positive spin or at least a productive spin on how things are going. Anyway, if anyone ever watches this, just know I'm thankful to you for taking the time to actually look at this. I'm, let's see, I guess I should probably be thanking people now. Yeah, I'm thankful for the parents who have reached out to me about offering remote D&D because this was something I've been trying to set up, and I know some people were a little worried about whether this was something we should do, but it's really showing that, yeah, yes, there is a lot of desire out there for this, both in terms of just something to distract the kids with and the social aspect of getting the kids cooperating with each other. I'm thankful to all of my students as always because whenever I'm feeling low, I just look at those things like the posters I have in my room or some of the things that I'm making for them to enjoy D&D maps, the video, all these things, and I'm just thankful for the idea that I could be helping them and hoping that they're doing okay. I'm thankful to my family for reaching out periodically. I'm thankful for anyone who reaches out. In fact, I want to do a little bit more of that, and I'm thankful for my roommates and my friends for really, really just sort of, yeah, reaching out and being there and staying alive in all of this. Anyway, this has been an adventure of the ostentatious. If you like to tell your friends, if you hated to tell your enemies, if you don't care either way, tell everyone. It definitely makes my day a little bit brighter when I go on and I see that I have a new subscribe, and I have no idea quite really what that means or how that works, but it's cool. And yeah, be safe, be healthy, be amazing, and happy quarantine.